In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Agen Kolar for the Revenge of the Sith line. Character that we see in a few frames in Attack of Clones, particularly at the Battle of Geonosis. And, of course, he's also one of the 4 Jedi that ends up confronting Chancellor Palpatine in his office at that pinnacle moment in Revenge of the Sith, and unfortunately meets his demise there. But this is a fantastic action figure. I'm really happy he's in my collection. So I got this at a toy show in 2016 or 17, I think it was. It was one of those 2 years. I do have an interesting story about this because I got this action figure brand new, and when I opened it out of the package, unfortunately his lightsaber shattered on me. Just the whole hilt just melted apart in pieces. It's very interesting how that happened. I never have had that with an action figure before. So this lightsaber he has in hand right now is not the actual one he comes with, but it's very similar. As you can see, it's kind of worn out. This came with my original Revenge of the Sith General Grievous from 2005. Even though I don't have the actual action figure anymore, I did keep the lightsabers over the years from him. But I do hope to reacquire that General Grievous at some point. Now, as far as I could tell, this lightsaber hilt is pretty much the same exact one that comes with the actual, that actually comes with Agen Kolar here. But this is all one piece. I know the lightsaber that came with the Agen Kolar has a removable blade. Not the case for this one. But things happen. It's not a fault of mine or fault of anyone in particular. It's just, unfortunately, that lightsaber deteriorated over time, and at that point the action figure was 11 or 12 years old, and unfortunately it just didn't last for him. But still, the action figure itself is great. I think this is one of the best Jedi that Hasbro made from the Revenge of the Sith line. Holds up really good and has a lot of or kind of has some innovative parts about him. We'll get into that here in a little bit. We'll mention there is an Agen Kolar that some people would say is more definitive, I guess, from the Legacy collection. And that's a very nice Agen Kolar as well. I ended up getting this one instead because it's much more cheaper, I guess, than the Legacy collection one. And plus, the big selling point for me is that this figure has a more neutral expression, while the Legacy collection version has a more of a scowl or a kind of like a war face on him, showing his teeth. And I kind of like having most of my action figures with the most neutral expression possible. And that's definitely the case with this. The Legacy collection action figure, if you get brand new, sometimes it goes for like $50 or more. This one you could easily find for probably $15 or less. So for my purposes, I would argue that this might be the best Agen Kolar that you can get today because of the price point, much more of a neutral expression, and he actually comes with a robe, while the Legacy collection one does not. And this robe isn't like any others. This is the innovative part about it that I was talking about, but we'll get into that here in a minute. Let's take a look at this head sculpt here first. So there is a lot of confusion between like Eth Koth and Agen Kolar. So Eth Koth is on the Jedi Council in the Phantom Menace, and we don't really see him again beyond Episode 1. And then he's replaced by Agen Kolar. And I think what originally happened is there was a problem with the costume, so it was easier to just make an all-new character for Attack of Clones and Revenge of the Sith, instead of go back and piece together Eth Koth's outfit from Episode 1. But thankfully, fans and creators get creative over time, and they end up just making them 2 different characters that have that are part of the same species. And then that is one thing that I like that Dave Filoni did, is Eth Koth to get some of his own episodes in the Clone Wars series, and they help kind of close the gap between the mystery between these 2 characters. So Eth Koth and Agen Kolar are 2 totally separate characters. And oh yeah, he does have a extra hilt here, I think. Or I may put that one there. As you can see, he does have hair. Looks pretty good. Has a lot of nice details in it. It does have the horns there. I'm trying to think. He might be an Iridonian or something very similar to one. So in regards to his robes here, as you can see, it's all plastic, but it's not really much of a hindrance at all. And it's because Hasbro, what they did is they had it as all separate parts. So you have the sleeves here, and you just pull those off. And they're very easy to put on his arms. As you can see, it has the slit cut there. So it's easy enough to slip on for both arms. And instead of having this cumbersome robe where you're going to have to work at it for minutes to try and get it off of him, it's really not that bad. Let's see here if I can do it. It's been a little bit since I did it, but I think it's important to be able to do it for the purposes of this video. So not too bad to take off. There's some Jedi robes out there, especially plastic ones, where it can take you several minutes to try and pry it off, and you may even have to do the hot water treatment. Not too bad here. So you can see his hair is kind of molded around to where the robe would be, but it's still pretty good on him. And they did a very nice job on his actual figure here. It's a soft good skirt, a little bit of plastic for his tunic. And yeah, it looks pretty good. In terms of his articulation, yeah, that's a swivel neck there. He does have hinged shoulders though, and swivel elbows, which is not bad for this action figure at all. I know a lot of people don't like swivel elbows, but it's okay for his purposes. Swivel wrists, and swivel waist, and swivel hips. He does have hinged knees, and I don't think any ankle articulation, no. So pretty good articulation at the time. And it's good enough to get the point across. Pretty much get him in most of the poses that you're going to want him in anyway. He does have those freckles basically on his cheeks. In terms of accessories, of course, you have the robe here, 3 different parts. He does have a stand, which is a pretty standard one from Revenge of Sith, the Jedi Temple there. This is definitely pretty accurate to the lightsaber hilt that it came with. So when it shattered on me, it originally broke off just at the end of the hilt here. And then I think it came apart in several different pieces. But as you can see, it's pretty similar to this one that came with Grievous. He does have a spot on his belt to where you can attach the hilt. It stays in place pretty good. Of course, he does hold the lightsaber blade or the hilt perfectly fine. He does have a interesting cut around his sleeves though, to where you can't hold it or can't hold it too well, I should say. It is a little restrictive. I think what Hasbro is going for here is to get him in the pose of when he confronts Palpatine. Trying to see if you can get him to hold it with two hands. You get pretty close. It's not 100% there though. That still looks pretty good. Soft goods skirt for him, it's a very interesting material as well. It doesn't feel like cotton at all. And before we wrap up the video, put his robe back on and we'll make a small scene for him. Let's see if I can do this. I think it might be easier to just pop his arm off there. Kind of have to lift his hair up a little bit to get that robe underneath. Fortunately, it does have a little bit of flex to him. Might be a little easier to do it this way. When I keep them displayed, I always have the robe on. I think he looks pretty good like that. But anyway, before we wrap up this video, we'll bring out some other characters that are familiar with him. It's the TVC Kit Fisto, the original TVC Mace Windu, and it's not totally accurate, but it's the closest I have right now. It's AC-10. And they all look pretty good together. And as you can see, even though these are TVC action figures, I think this Agen Kolar blends in very nice with Mace and Kit Fisto there. Same with AC-10. He blends in really nice as well. And these three do have their own videos reviewed on the channel. Would recommend checking those out. But anyways, would I recommend this Agen Kolar for your collection? I totally would. If you're a big fan of Jedi of any kind, then he's a fantastic action figure. Definitely one of the highlights from the Revenge of the Sith line, in my opinion. One of the best Jedi that Hasbro made for that line at the time. Would I say this is the best Agen Kolar? I would say there's a very good case to make that claim. Even compared to the Legacy Collection figure. Like I said, this one has a more neutral expression. The Legacy Collection one has more of the scowl with his teeth showing. And this one has the robe, while the Legacy Collection one does not. Of course, the later version does have the extra articulation compared to this one, but I think the articulation on this action figure is good enough. You can pretty much get him in all the poses you want him in anyway. And he's much more affordable. You can either spend $50 for this character, or maybe $35 if you're lucky. I have seen them sometimes down in the 30s brand new. But you can get this one brand new for like $10 or $15. So it's totally up to you. But regardless, it's a fantastic action figure and happy it's part of my collection. Anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.